Really got to work on that intro music. It's so just, it's like Abacab mixed with a little bit of like lit. We got to do something about that. We need a heavy crunch to come in here and rock the souls of these individuals. Yeah.
Especially when you and I are doing an episode.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
All
okay.
right.
Let me coming to the defense of our little bumper. That was somebody that did that for free and volunteered to do it, right? It's like, yes, we need a makeover. Yes, we need a This Way Network 2.0 or a chat session bumper intro tease 2.0. It's going to happen. So yes, that's all. It's a placeholder. It's a placeholder.
Yes. Yeah.
Hello, William. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I have to say, I'm gonna hand it off to you here in a second, but I have to say, my people here, Carrie, Mitch, everybody coming in particular from Bible Every Morning. I was not in Bible Every Morning today because I had an important coffee with my pastor this morning, and so they're like, "Where's Michael?" and here I am. So, all right, William.
Yeah, it is deceiving to say when it says live and you're in there commenting like, yeah, why is he not? What's going on? It's because we're deceiving you. Or media, at least we'll admit it. We'll think, yes, that was we had to do a shoe in there and all just because. But it's good that you do the Bible Every Mornings because, in case you don't know, Christianity isn't the most popular thing amongst the mainstream dealing goes. You sort of if you're pushing Christianity, you're counterculture now. you're the guy
crazy.
Yeah. So you take the time to do such a thing. It's quite honorable. The rewards are immense. What happens now is insignificant. What's happening right now, being cool right now, I mean, yeah, it's got its perks, but it doesn't mean anything. What matters is the end result of what we do. That's the infinite reward. And so that's where you have to kind of like do your thing. Oh wow, I've got a whole bunch of people coming in. Yes. What's up? Oh wait, there we go. I missed that one.
Who's this? South of the border. Who's that? Do you know who that is?
Okay, South of the border is a wonderful patriot. We've known him for a long time. He's had to dip and dodge. Remember John from in Brazil?
Oh, okay, is that him?
Yes, he's a hard man. Let me tell you something. Man with spirit. Yeah,
I know. I know he is. Hi, John. I remember him.
Yeah,
I've talked to him before. Yeah.
And like, dude, channels. He's went through so many channels because he's over the target. We'll build a channel up. He'll get right there, ready to be monetized. Boom, take him down. He starts right back over again. I don't know anybody that
he refuses to be trained by YouTube.
Well, yeah. It's not even. Yeah, well, I mean, it's the content he puts out's clean. It's just really over the target. And instead of getting discouraged, we shall take a lesson from that. Instead of getting discouraged and giving up the ghost, he keeps moving forward. And it's there's so many people.
Look, we all know our dear friend Doug TenNapel has gone through the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. Doug TenNapel had 400,000 subscribers and he was canceled. And then he built it back up to 170,000 and got deleted. And then he built it again and got deleted. And then he went into hibernation for a while, curled up in fetal position. I've talked to him about it. He's like, I was making so much money and now I'm making nothing. And now he's back. And I think he's already surpassed, or he's about to surpass his like 400. I think he's close to 500,000 subs or something like that. So there is hope, but it is about the content, right? It's like, if you want to be on YouTube, you got to comply to just avoid certain topics. It's crazy, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the thing. It'd be nice to be. We could be super effective. We had two topics I came by. One of them was the was silence and like the First Amendment with one of our. I'm not going to name names because I know how YouTube loves to pick at us. But one of our Supreme
I'm not qualified to tell you what a woman is. I'm not a biologist. Person.
Yeah. We could go dance
Supreme Court justice. I'm not qualified to tell you what a woman is. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And what I just as there was complete opposition from quite a bit of people in Congress about that person being on the bench, and somehow or another, just somehow or another, it just works out. And so if you use the word, I'm not going to use the whole word because it's triggery, diversity, just that's all we're going to say. When it comes to the process of getting somebody a job, it seems that the first thing you want to do is play the card, that card. And it's like, I can't help the fact that it lies under that circumstance because of the boxes being checked off. You heard about in Washington State recently. Now you don't have to. I'm moving to Washington State to be an attorney because you don't have to pass a bar exam there. You can just
right. Yeah, I did see that. The Washington State Supreme Court, right? They ruled that it's the criterion for be passing or be practicing law in that state is now easier.
How's that like even a thing? How do you? I mean, what do you have to prove there? I mean, like, do you remember the movie Idiocracy and the scene where the dude's trying to is trying his best to plead his case for why he didn't pay his doctor bills because he was under a government experiment for time capitalization. And then the whole time as attorney, he went to Costco, by the way, it turns on him and he's like, you better, he says choice words to him. And the whole court is like it was like a scene out of a, what's funny is if you look at like what country is it where they have when all the Congress gets together in the middle of the floor and half of the one side goes, ooh, and the other side goes, woo. And I think Boris Johnson, what is that? England or what is that?
Yeah. The UK, British Parliament.
That is, I watched that when they were going after Boris Johnson and everybody's like, woo. And everybody was like, oh, I'm like, whoa. And we're headed in that direction,
It would seem, I those videos of these foreign government, these meetings, the guy just launching himself across, targeting somebody on the other side, and everybody gathering, pulling him back. It's like, full on fisticuffs, attacking each other. I mean, I'd kind of rather that happen than continually signing bills that give our money to foreign interests.
Well, right. Oh yeah. So the topic of
you and I could go. We could vamp forever.
Yeah. The topic of today is, and I'll bring this upon us. This couple here, of significant. They have some sort of significance in media, I think, and they have decided to move in a different direction. I will play the little video here of them talking, and so. I'm pointing out the fact that this is where that we're like one side of the aisle starts to run because they know they're losing control, and it probably speaks a lot as to why we have all the border crossings that aren't exactly up to par. But here we go. Check this out.
I'm not getting audio.
Oh, wait a minute. It should. Are we not getting audio?
Yeah, it's one of the settings in here. Ugh, I don't know how I don't know how to run this software, but this does happen.
Okay. And wait a minute. And
maybe everybody else is.
So in the comment section, do y'all get the audio?
Are you guys hearing this when he hits play?
For everybody out here, can y'all hear the? Basically, if that they're going and back and forth, and that there's a little bit of there's a transcript. I know, right?
I read the transcript. Yes.
Yeah. And they go back and forth and
all right, they didn't. Carrie says they didn't have any audio either.
Okay, so we've got a DEI hire running things, which is me, by the way. I checked off a certain box. I don't know what that was, but it was.
It's the hair. It's the hair.
Yeah, the hair. Yeah,
yeah.
Hair. What's funny? I love this. So
he must be a leftist dressed like that. Dude, that's why I'm growing along here.
I love it.
I'm a leftist.
If all I gotta do is roll into like a gas station somewhere with an ear pod in that's just loud enough where they can hear Blink 182, and then they start, and they start talking, and then I start talking, and they go, "Crap, he's not one of us." Oh, but
open mouth, truth comes out.
Yes,
open
my mouth tends to. I have this thing where I can say things and. Ooh, boy, the room gets really quiet at times. But this couple who previously supported Barack Obama revealed their intention to vote for Donald Trump in 2024. The wife actually voted for Trump on 16. She said she's smarter.
Is it the wife? I thought it was the husband. I thought it was the husband.
Who'd you vote
I think you have it
for? Oh
reversed.
yeah, no, they said no. Azad. I don't.
That's him.
And Killian. Okay, him. Yeah, I voted for Donald Trump, Alexander, Hillary Clinton. Oh, yeah.
A house divided in 2016. They were a house divided.
Yeah. And man, so anyway, so long story short, what they realized is that Nicole Killen, CBS News correspondent, was in Georgia in a crucial swing state to gauge the sentiments of a certain demographic of voters, and the activist of the election season heats up. And Killian interviewed Azad Ahmadi and his girlfriend, and Alexandra Ahmadi, which, I mean, wait a minute, is it his girlfriend or his sister, or are they married? Anyways, it doesn't matter. Now a member of the Georgia Republicans of Alexandria, a registered Democrat, shared their journey from voting for Barack Obama in both 2008 and 2012, which somewhere in 2010 is where Obama actually executive ordered the Smith-Mundt Act off of our mainstream media, or off media in general. You know what that is, right? You do?
The Smith-Mundt Act. It rings a bell. I don't remember.
Okay. Oh wow. Let's talk about this for a minute. So, does anybody have any noticed the MSNBS and Keith Olbermann and all those people? Okay, so there was a thing that was put in place so that, because back in World War I or II, somewhere right around, our media was used to destabilize certain countries so that they could be stabilized. I know it's weird. I know we had to go over there.
Propaganda is a tool, right? Propaganda is a weapon of war.
We were put to the task of putting together the world's most inclusive propaganda team, much like Hitler did, to destabilize certain countries' political power so that we could install a more democratic system.
Exporting democracy.
But by the way, we were a constitutional republic, but that's a whole other video altogether. So with the Smith-Mundt Act in place, that kept us over here in the United States from that kind of effect happening. So we'd have actual real media, so we could maintain, because we were a stable country, supposedly. And we needed to keep it that way. So let's not destabilize our own country. So an amendment was put in, or executive order was put in at the time, so that media was, be held accountable for all this crazy stuff. Well, when Obama came in his first term, right around in the time frame when he needed to start really pushing an agenda for division, he decided to executively lift that. In other words, that gives all of the state-run media that gets 70 to 80% of their money from government funding and grants, by the way, which a lot of times when you deal with that kind of stuff, you have to check off certain boxes so that you get these grants. That was lifted, and that's a really good example of, or the example now shows that, because of the fact of how they can openly, necessarily not lie to us, but be able to spin things to deceive us and lie to us at the same time, but but just really work the magic of propaganda on us.
Yeah, and part of, just to interject here, part of it's not always overt lying, which there is a lot of overt lying, but it's manipulation by omission, right? It's like, we'll omit the most important stories that are damaging to our side, right? That's as propagandistic as overt lying. Omit the important stories that people need to know to make an informed decision. You're creating an ignorant mass to guide them. The ignorant masses, or the blind, or the evil leading the blind, essentially.
Right. Well, and so, and I wouldn't. And now let's not misconstrue the word ignorant with the word stupid, because those are two different words, and there's a reason.
No, absolutely.
There's a reason why I'm going to explain this. So this couple here, were they ignorant, means that you just aren't well informed. And it speaks of that in the Bible. Ignorance, you need to learn about this stuff. You're not stupid, but if you come to heaven completely ignorant of the whole thing, you ain't gonna get in, because we need good people up here. There's a reason for why I'm vetting you guys out. And so the couple that we're talking about here on the beginning has bought into all that. And that what's even funnier is like you'll see it more with white soccer moms. So just
Mhm.
just to get a
Mhm, mhm.
demographic of like not
Yeah.
necessarily pointing anybody out by certain demographics, but I am.
Yeah.
But I'm just
The
giving both
comfortable
sides.
class, right? The comfortable
Right.
class that sit in their bubbles and watch, all the View, or, the soap opera crowd that now watches, smut reality TV dating shows. That
Man,
group?
dude, I really, I so what's up with the smut reality TV dating shows? What kind of demoralization are they trying to sell to females to sit there and wait in line with the whole room full of females for one stupid limp-wristed beta noodle-armed dude to cry with a rose in his hand? And you've got people glued to the TV like, is he gonna give her the rose? And I'm sitting there thinking, look, ladies, and of course we all know what the whole deal is. These people are looking for their shoe in and being famous, which means they're selling out their dignity. And I tell you
Dude,
what,
I tell you what,
dignity.
if there is one, type of content that AI could create, and nobody would know the difference, is those reality dating shows. Those little sit down interviews, and they talk about their emotions and how they felt about that date and how they feel about the other girls that are in the house, blah blah blah. It's just the same thing repeated over episode after episode, season after season. These just changing the words around a little bit. It's just the message coming out. It's exact. AI could produce that at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
Except we've got
So
these contestants. They're all already AI programmed to say this pablum, these emotionally charged yet content vacuous sound bites.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and all you would need would be just like I say, a wet noodle. Hold that up, let the camera take a picture of that. AI could generate the dude off of that wet noodle, and then you would have a show. And you know, but see, look, who do you blame though? Do you blame the people who created the show, or do you blame society for allowing themselves to be malleable that way? I mean, how does that work?
Well, I work in
Okay,
that
but
industry, so I can tell you that's what
but
that's
so okay, but look
literally
at
my
this.
career.
So there's two sides to that. I think that in a sense, right from wrong, and I know that it's not right to take advantage of people. I mean, in the line of work I'm in, I could I could hose some people, and with the right talk game, they would be gladly handing me their money. But I
Mhm.
know that in the background it's wrong. You are who you are when nobody's looking except for God. God sees you all the time. So when I'm by
Mhm.
myself and my thoughts all to myself, and I think nobody's looking, I can think, I can say these things, I can have these intentions. Then long story short, it's and not. I think this way because I know God approves of a certain thing, but because I know right from wrong, and I think that it's wrong knowing to grab hold of these people and shake them with such terrible shows for them to produce it. But then again, it's wrong for the people to feed into that stuff. So it's almost like a drug dealer should not sell crack because it's bad for you. But then again, there's a market for that out there, and I could
Right.
use some rims on my car.
Okay.
What do you do?
I need to make an important point here, because we're like, this is the heart or the core of the industry that I work in media and entertainment. And we're going to get back to this couple, because I want to talk about something about this couple before we're
Okay.
done. But let me
Yes.
interject. I remember in college, just before I worked in the entertainment industry, in college, in one of my classes, communications classes, it took the question is posed is it art imitating reality, or reality imitating art? When you
Ah,
consume media, whether it's reality TV or whether it's film or even music, right? The story, the subject matter, art imitating reality or reality imitating art. And it's both and, right? So it's yes, right? It's a yes, it's not an either or, it's a both and.
mhm.
But the thing that's left out of that equation as moral as moral creatures, right? Human beings are the only moral creatures. We're the only ones possibly to have such a thing as morality, because of the way God has designed the universe, right?
Mm.
It's not justification when you say it's art imitating reality and reality imitating art. What should happen, and this is my mission, is just because something really happened doesn't mean you need to glorify it in art. It doesn't mean you have to elevate the worst elements of that reality. Rather, we should be focusing on the righteousness and the redemption stories, so that we're pushing reality in the correct direction. Don't just repeat the evil that happens in reality and glorify that. Rather, we should take our skill set, what we were designed to do, to glorify, to focus on what God is doing and what the hero stories. And those are the things that are most successful, the hero stories. But we need to intentionally omit glorifying evil, right? So the art imitating reality. So
totally makes sense. I mean,
we're not doing that, but it's what we need to do. And that's what
right. That we have the mental capacity to understand that this is ruining homes. And
don't normalize promiscuous sex. Don't normalize aberrant, perverse sexual relationships, right? Don't normalize those. Don't normalize accept. Don't make this a safe space for this abject perversion. No.
No, it's wrong. So that's where God flipped over tables. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I am a little upset here, guys. You're just and this is it. I'm flooding the earth. You guys are just doing some bad stuff." And so, of course, by the way, we aren't going to see any more floods. When it's time for this to happen again, it's going to be really hot. It's going to be fire.
Well, let's get back to this couple because I want to talk about their evolution as a couple. So what happened, William? So he voted for Trump in 2016. She voted for Hillary in 2016. He voted for Trump in 2020. She voted for Biden in 2020. And drum roll, please. And who will you vote for in 2024?
They both said the Trumpster.
What's her name? Killian, the interviewer. What?
They said, and who will you vote for 24? Amati, Donald Trump. Alexandria, Donald Trump. And Killian, by the way, what's a really ironic name.
All right.
Clearly surprised, followed up with questions to Alexandria about her potential change in political preference. And it says, you may vote for former president. She said, I may. And why would you say that? Alexandria says, my views on certain things have changed. I am very much so right on the fence.
I'm very much so right on the fence.
Well, how does that happen, though? Is it because of the fact that when you overplay your cards and then you think that nobody's looking and that you think that legacy media's got a hold on anybody? People don't have common sense, and that thing that God put in us, which is compassion, the ability to analyze what's really going on, overrides propaganda at some point in time. And then, if you can't win with propaganda, what happens after that in most situations? What happens?
Fine.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, well, I mean, sad to say, but when the government and the people who are running this show understand that their propaganda is no longer affected,
they resort to force. Yeah, they
force
martial law. Well, she indicates the reasons. Like she's like, well, the economy's stupid, right? The current environment.
Yeah, she says, Marty, on the other hand, she said, indicated the shift in political allegiance happening during Trump's first term, expressing a belief that the Democratic Party no longer aligns with his goals. When did you make that decision in a different box? Oh, God, here we go, those boxes again. Donald Trump's first term, I'm saying his first term because I'm pretty sure he'll be in there for a second term. Woo! In either case, post-Obama, I decided that the party just wasn't suitable for the goals that I have, which is like raising a family, having cheap gas, and some food on the table.
Yeah, thriving.
Thriving, yes. And so, by the way, military security, because we had our gas reserves refilled at $25 a barrel instead of $150 or $300 a barrel now, whatever it is. How did you come to that conclusion? Because at the end of the day, former President Obama was the first African-American president in history, which means that we were completely the most. At that point, America was so nice and united that we elected the first black president. And then he gets in there and says that we're racist. But anyways, that was weird.
Literally, like, here we go. Literally, the United States, at that moment, the proof in the pudding, we are literally the least racist nation on the face of the earth. Literally the least racist nation. Right?
Yeah. If all honestly, Obama stole Hillary's thunder because she probably could have got in too. There was like, but anyway, so until Obama messed everything up, and then everybody realizes that the Democrat Party was evil, and then Trump got elected. But anyway, so Amati says, so after we, first African American president in history, Amati says, absolutely, I attended the inauguration in his first term. I grew up outside of Washington, D.C. in the 80s and 90s, came through the system as an institutional Democrat. By the way, that's all through propaganda, because most of the
Mm.
Democrat Party itself hated that side of the aisle and used the likeness and the weakness that was instilled because of handouts, not these people, but just in general.
Mhm.
And the supposedly we're so good to you guys, but really this is we have an alternative method, a motive to hold you down through these. But went through a lot of experiences that young black men go through, good and bad. Ended up leaving the environment, grew up, started looking at the world through a new lens. And then and so unfortunately the interview was cut short by the BET network. Oh,
I didn't read this far. That's funny as
yes.
heck,
So,
right?
so
It's
in
like,
other words,
wait,
the network
both of
that
these
was,
people.
they were actually speaking out and giving their community a different way of thinking that could possibly, be a better way of life.
Let me
Suddenly, the
speak. Yeah.
network that was given to them for their benefit cut the interview.
Let me speak to television programming, right? Because this is like BET. Let's have this couple on, and I guarantee it's not just BET. It's more ubiquitous. In the mainstream media, is these people aren't actually very intelligent. The people that program, right? They've always wanted to be in media. They consider themselves journalists, and now that they're working on a TV show or something or in a network, like we've made it, and we're the authorities, even though they couldn't argue themselves out of a paper bag. They don't know history. They don't know, like, they're just very shallow people, and
Byron Donalds.
they're probably like, here's this couple that we're going to shame. They've merged. They've gravitated as a couple now to Donald Trump, and we're going to shame them. We're going to say, get some gotchas, and they think they can bring them on, and it's just so self-evident that it's wrong to support Trump, right? They're like, we're gonna hear from them, but it's gonna be how can you do that? And we're gonna shame them. And it turns around the other way. It's like, well, look, everybody, look what's going on. Can't you see for yourselves that the economy's going south? Blah 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 blah. And BET, somebody at the top's going, this is not going the way we thought it was going to go. We're done. Cut them off before they distribute more pro-Trump propaganda. Now, that's happening left and right. And I love it that the CNN and BET, they're just getting, they can't avoid it now. They're trying to program with relevant topics, and the people they bring on keep saying these kinds of things that cut against the narrative they're trying to push. Here's my personal, in the last minute or so, a couple of minutes, my personal journey through this. I did not vote for Donald Trump in 2016 because I didn't vote for Hillary either. I down ticket, it was Republican, but I left at the top. I was like, if the media gets a hold of my voting record where I work, I'm like, I could be ostracized, right? That's what I was thinking at the time. I'm like, if somebody finds out I voted for Trump, I would literally lose my job probably. So I'm like, okay, we'll see. But I did get my wife to vote for him. At least I'm going to get one person in my household to vote for him. So she voted for him. He ends up winning. In 2020, total reversal. I'm like, I'm voting for him. I don't care. I'm voting for him. I don't care.
Yeah.
And
Got nothing to lose.
But my wife voted for Biden. Right. So this culture changed so much in 4 years that she the teacher, she's a teacher, so she's around a bunch of teachers, and the teachers union is the most liberal organization ever. And we live in a very leftist neighborhood, and we live in Southern California and Hollywood, etc. And so my wife's inundated, and there's nothing I could do. I'm like, I at least have to cancel her vote out. Right? I voted for Trump. She voted for Biden. Now she's like, I like Steve Garvey, the Republican candidate for Senate, to take Barbara Boxer, Dianne Feinstein's spot, right? She's like, I like Steve Garvey. And she's starting to say things, like, what's going on at the border? And wait, China did what? And so my wife is like, it's starting to seep into her world now. Like, I've been saying it all along, and now she's realizing I'm right. So I think we're going to get 2 Trump votes this November.
Yeah, well, I think that it's why do we only have one person? Well, we had Vivek Ramaswamy, had a lot of really good talking points on the side of, how weaponized government has become, except the only thing that I think that Trump has a plan. I think he understands that his time on this planet is limited because of his age, and he's going to go for broke. And I don't even think he's really worried about his assets, just enough to keep him afloat to do what he's got to do. He's willing to lose it all. Yeah. He really is. And so, and that will pave the way. And plus, all this happening really acclimates the public for what needs to happen if we can get somebody like Trump in office to the people who came across the border, not legally, The media is going to try to buck and going to try to make people like, oh my gosh, they're doing something. No, we're going to be like, no, nope, we got it. Nope, just stop. And so this is a good thing. This is a good thing. I just hope that that they don't pull that thing we just talked about earlier when the propaganda doesn't work, and they have this thing called martial law.
Right. I don't think that'll. I think that. I gotta say one thing before we're done that you just kind of brought out that I think is a very important point that I don't want to escape. Trump may lose everything, right? But he's willingly going that way. And when he wins and loses everything, he's demonstrating what we have to face, every person, to right the ship, right? It's going to take some personal sacrifice and loss for the sake of the nation to rescue the nation. All right. Excellent, William. Excellent.
Excellent.
Always too short. I love you, brother.
Yeah, love you too, man.
Get to work.
I love all the mods. Thank you, Robin and Jacqueline, all you good people. You're awesome. We got to get it so those people can get in. Take it easy. Have a good day. Peace out.
God is